Hi everyone, welcome to Java Techie. As you know, Java and Spring Framework continue to dominate the development community even today, while Python remains the leading choice for AI, including machine learning and generative AI. Then how can Java developers leverage or work with large language models if they prefer not to use the Python? This is where Spring AI comes in. When I was reading the Spring AI portal, what felt me more motivated was the idea of integrating Spring applications with locally running large language models, which empowers Java developers to create AI based application within their familiar ecosystem. Okay, so in this tutorial, I'll walk you through the steps to understand how to run large language model locally using Ollama and Spring AI. We'll also work on a hands-on project with the popular large language model called LLaMA 2. Okay, all right. So without any further delay, let's get started. So before I start explaining how Spring AI integrates with the world of generative AI, let me give you high level overview of Ollama and the various type of LLM it supports. At high level, Ollama is a platform that offers access to variety of large language models. It allows developers to use those models to add smart features to their application like understanding the text, generating the content, translating the language and perform the vision assistant. Like you can achieve many more features from different large language models, and Ollama is the way you can connect to different large language model from your application. Okay, if you will take a look at high level, this is the Ollama, which is the platform, and it supports variety of large language models like GPT-4, GPT-3, BERT, Roberta, T5, XNet, Albert. There are different type of large language models. You can see here LLaMA, LLaMA 2, Lava, large language and vision assistant. Okay, there are different type of large language models available. Using this Ollama, you can connect with them. Fine. So in this tutorial, we'll work on the LLaMA 2 model. LLaMA 2 is Meta's open source large language model. It's basically the Facebook parent company's response to OpenAI GPT models and Google's AI model like Palm 2. But mainly it is designed to handle various natural language understanding and generation tasks with high accuracy and efficiency. For example, you have ChatGPT, right? In ChatGPT, you are giving the prompt and you are getting the response back, which you can consider as a text language model. Similarly, this LLaMA 2 also supports the text language models where you can add your prompt and LLaMA 2 will give you the response back. So what basically we are going to design? We are going to create a Spring Boot project using Spring AI. Then we'll start the Ollama platform, and from Ollama platform we'll connect to the LLaMA 2 model. Okay, then we can perform all the AI based operation in our own Spring Boot application. So you can consider we are going to create our own chat GPT, okay, using Ollama and LLaMA 2. So the name looks similar, but remember Ollama is a platform. There are other different platform using that you can connect to different large language models, but in this example we are considering Ollama, which is a platform, and LLaMA 2, which is a large language model. Okay, don't be confused with these two names. So this is what we are going to design in today's example. But before we start developing the things, let's go and check the Spring AI official page to understand more about what all different kind of language models Spring AI supports. Okay, so if we'll go to the official page of Spring AI, spring.io, spring-ai, you can find this home page and you can go through this particular documentation. but let me summarize different language models Spring AI supports. So if you will open Spring AI API, if you extract it, you can find they will categorize different type of model: chat models, embedding model, image model, audio model, like different large language models does different role, right? So for example, chat model API, you can add a prompt and you will get the response. And audio model, you can convert text to audio, audio to text. Similarly, in image model, you can upload a image and you can ask to the AI to give or to elaborate that particular image. Like that, if you have different tasks to do, you need to go with the different large language models. Okay, so they have categorized in the Spring AI section. Now, since we want to play with the chat model because we want to add the prompt and we want to get the response back, I can open this chat model API. And here if you observe, there are different chat model API: OpenAI, Ollama, Azure OpenAI, Amazon Bedrock. There are different um, API, right? So in this example, we are going to use Ollama. So just click on it and you will find the steps in detailed way. Now you need to follow these steps and create your own bot similar to the chat GPT using Ollama platform and Llama 2 or Llama 3 as a model. Okay, so let's create the project from scratch. Open the Spring Initializer, then just fill all the required field. Now let's add all the required dependency. I will add the Spring Web. Then I just want to add the Spring AI. You can see here there are so many AI dependency available in Spring framework. So I am looking for, you can see here, right, Ollama AI. So these two dependencies enough. You can add Spring Web to expose a REST endpoint so that you can add a prompt and you can add the Ollama dependency. Fine. Now click on generate the project. Let me import this particular code to the IntelliJ IDEA. So here we go. So if you will open the pom.xml, you can see here we are using the latest version of Spring Boot and we have added these two dependency: Spring Boot Starter Web and Spring AI Ollama. Okay, so these are the two dependency we need to use. Then at very first step, if you will go and check the documentation, you have created the project, that is good. Now you also need to start Ollama on your local machine, right? Because Ollama is the platform who will connect to the Llama 2 large language model. So you need to first install Ollama on your local machine. So to know more about how you can set up Ollama in your local, you can open this particular link, and if you scroll down, you can find that you can set up or you can install Ollama specific to your operating system. Just click on this download. You will find the binary distribution and you need to install it manually. But if you don't want it to keep in your local, you can go with the Docker image. So if you see here, there is a official image available in Docker Hub. You can see this name, right? So if you see here, this is the verified image which you can use to kickstart Ollama container in your local machine. Okay, so I'm going to use the same Ollama Docker image to start the Ollama container. So for that, what I can do, I'll create a file called docker compose. Then simply I will pull this particular image from my compose file. Okay, so let me add it. The version is 3.8 and host name is Ollama. Container name is this, and this is the same image I am pulling from Docker Hub. Okay, and this is the default port where my Ollama container will run. Fine. So first we need to start this Ollama container. For that, first let me start the Docker desktop. So it started. Now I need to start this particular container.
For that, I will go to the terminal. Then I will just run this docker compose.yml file. I'll just use docker compose force, then file name and of the container. So if you observe, it is already created the container for me. Now if you open the docker images, you can see the image here, right? So we are good here. Okay. Now if you understand it, we have started our platform, which is Ollama. Now we need to run the model, which is LLaMA 2, inside the Ollama container, right? So how we can do that? Very simple step. Since you have your Ollama container up and running, you can execute the command docker execute, and what is your container name? Ollama. Okay. And which model you want to run? I want to run LLaMA 2. Okay. So you can also play with different model using this Ollama platform. Currently we'll go with the LLaMA 2 model. Just run it. It will take couple of minutes. So you can see here the status is success. Now here you can ask any question. For example, let me ask, who is the current PM in India? So it's giving me the response. This particular prompt I'm asking to the Ollama container. Ollama container internally use the LLaMA 2 model to give you the response. You can see here I got the result. Okay. So this is what you can play with your container, I mean own container. But if you want, you can also trigger a API, or you can trigger a call expression to know more about this particular response. Okay. So if you will try, my container is running on 11434 port, right? So if I'll open the terminal, let me open another terminal here, and I will trigger a curl command localhost 11434 API/generate, and if I will enter it again, this will also hit my container will talk to the LLaMA 2 model and give you the response about the prompt you are asking here. Okay. So if you see here, we are getting the response, but the output is not in the proper order. That is fine. So you can see here, see this response. Here are 5 of the best Indian cricketers, and then he will give the name Sachin. Okay. Tendulkar. I mean, he's giving the each word in the response. Okay, which is not proper. We can map it correctly. So let's write our own API to ask the prompt and get the response back from this LLaMA 2. Okay. So for now, let me stop this. All good. So just go to the documentation. We are done with the project setup. Now what is the next? You need to define the Spring AI Ollama base URL. From your application, you want to connect to the Ollama platform, which is running in a Docker container. So you need to define where exactly it is running in your code. Okay. For that, what you can do, you can create a file called application.yml, or even you can define them in the properties file as well. Not here. So here just define spring.ai.ollama. What is the base URL? Base URL is this, right? Then just define what model you want to use. I want to use the model LLaMA 2. Okay, that's it. If you want, you can define the port of your server dot port, let's say 9292. Fine. So you just need to define where exactly your Ollama platform is up and running and which model your container is using. That's it, nothing else. This is what the minimum configuration you need to do to play with any large language model using Ollama container using Spring AI. All good, let's close everything. Now let's start creating the API to just who will accept the prompt and give you the response back. So I will just create a class called controller class, or better you can name it AI controller, something like that. Okay, now just annotate here at the rate rest controller, then just define a method public who will return you the result in the form of string generate. Just annotate this at the rate get mapping and you will pass the prompt, right? So string, that's it. Now you will give this prompt message to a AI. I mean, you can create a AI service who will talk to the Llama 2 model. Okay. So what I can do, I will just create a class here. Just annotate at the rate service. Fine. Now here I will define a method public who will return me again the string. Take the prompt. Fine. Now how my application will talk to the Ollama container or Llama 2 model? I need a client, right? I can use the chat client, or I need some template who can connect to the Ollama container which is up and running. So for that you can go to the code, I mean the documentation. You can find the piece of code. You can use this particular model. Okay, this chat model. You can use that. So just copy this piece of code, just paste it. Then you just need to add the input statement. So you can remove this. If you observe carefully, we are using the chart model. First let me inject that chart model private. So we can use the Ollama chart model. If you use the different chart model, I mean different model, you can use corresponding chart model. Okay, so just use the Ollama chart model, auto edit. Fine. Now what we are doing here, chart model, I mean this Ollama chart model having a method called call, and we are giving the prompt, but we don't want to hard code the prompt which I want to pass dynamically from the REST API. I'll just give the prompt, take this prompt, use the Llama 2 model and give me the response back. Fine. Now just add a return statement. So just add return, you'll get the response dot get result, then get the content in string. Currently I am just using the string, but if you want to map those response, you can create your own mapper and you can map all the string response to corresponding DTO. Okay, for now let's go with the string. I mean we just want to check how the model is working, large language model, how we can integrate it in our Spring app. Fine. So now let me call this particular method. First let me inject the service, just call return AI service dot generate result and give the prompt messages. Now just add this particular input. So what I'll do, I'll just use request parameter. That's fine. Just define what is the value you want to pass. So the value will be the same name of your attribute. This is optional, you can skip it, that's fine. I don't want to keep any default value, let it be. I just need to define the URL. You can define API slash v1 generate, that's it. Okay, so all good. So now let's start our app and we'll see whether our model is giving response to us or not. Okay, let's go to the main class and run it. So we can see here it started on port 9292. Now what I can do, I will go to the browser and I will just hit localhost. Then what is the prompt message you want to give, that is the request param. Just copy the name and then ask your input or give your prompt messages. So you can give anything, like let's ask the same question. So just list the 5 best male cricketers in the world. Just enter. Let's see what is the result we are getting. Yes, we got the results. It take 15 to 20 seconds for me to give the response back, since it is running on my local. It could be faster on your system, just give a try. Now if you'll see the output, so selecting the top 5 male cricketers in the world is a challenging task, as there have been many talented and successful cricketers. Let's look the names. Sir V Richards, known as Master Blaster. Okay. Second is Sachin Tendulkar. It's just giving the name and some more inputs about them. Okay. Can you see here? Brain Lara, Wasim Akram. Okay. So the input we have given or the prompt we have provided, my application is successfully able to connect to the Ollama container and get the response. So this you can consider that your own GPT model. Okay. Now if you'll ask some different question or different prompt, let's say I just want to ask who is the current PM in UK. Just enter it. Again you need to wait for 15 to 20 seconds to get the response back. So here we got the response. The current Prime Minister of UK. This does not looks correct. Let me check. Former Prime Minister of the UK. It seems model didn't understand the prompt I have asked for. So that's fine. I mean, the way GPT respond, the response may not be accurate, right? That's absolutely fine. So this is how you can design the model and you can design the GPT model. So there are different large language model available like llama 2, lava. So if you see here, so here if you see in this particular example, they have used the model called lava. So what this does, it will take the image, and if you will ask him to explain about the image, he'll give you the input what he identify from the image. Okay, this is kind of visual assistant. So like this, there are different large language models who plays different role. Do let me know in a comment section if you are interested to learn more about different type of models to integrate with Spring AI. Okay, that's all about this particular video, guys. Thanks for watching this video. Meet you soon with a new concept.